Gunline. Fire mission coming down. I'd like to thank you all for joining us here on the Gun Line, where we shoot the shit like we did out in the field. Today, my guest is old Urena. Known this character since 2007 ish, when we met up in Korea around that time. Then we got to fucking link back up during SLC when he was working with the Ruskies out there doing some other bullshit, that Secret Squirrel Service shit that we talked about on the first time. So if you missed that, go back to look for the first motherfucking episode that we had together. Anyways, as you can see, we got a little bit of shake and bake going on today. He's wearing he's wearing the fucking old HE 10155 projectile shirt, and I got the old Willie P. Hell to the yeah, great designs. I had a great designer on that.
And shake and bake.
We got a little bit of shake and bake, baby. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you know what the fuck we're talking about. Check it out. If you like them, go ahead and check under the fucking comment section in the description. There's going to be a link to the merch store. Make sure you guys go and get one. Shake and bake. We got a little bit of everything from the straight out the AHA collection. Anyways, with that said, what's going on, brother? How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Just doing a lot of college courses lately, and just researching, working out, just helping out wherever I can, designing stuff, doing some good things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And full disclosure, he is the designer of the On the Gun Line merch that's out there right now. He's getting some kickback on this too. So, what's funny is, dude, how they took our shit down, saying that it was copyright infringement or some shit, and I had to fucking send them the original shit that you sent me.
Yeah.
And then for those that don't notice, the lot number on the motherfucker, you can't see it on this one, but on the lot number on his, it's OTGL on the Gun Line. So. Yep. To the motherfuckers that try to catch me with that copyright infringement, go suck a fat dick. This is original shit. But yeah, dude,
one of a kind.
So for those that saw the preview earlier, I got a lot on my mind. Mainly it sprung from we were talking sometime earlier last week or this week that there was a layout that was done.
Yeah.
And according to it was on Facebook, so it's real.
Yeah, it was on social media.
Yeah, so fucking there was a layout that was done, and apparently it got delayed because some LTs got wrapped up in some other shit that they were doing.
Yeah, I guess he or she was in a meeting till like 2100. So whatever platoon that was out there till 2100 with their shit laid out, waiting on a PL. Which, if you're artillery, like that should really like hit you in the heart, especially if you're like an NCO or something in artillery. It should really offend you, because I know I got heated when I looked at it and I had to like scroll away. I think I left a little comment about it. I was like, "Where's the fucking platoon sergeant? Like, where's the NCO or something?" Right. But like, I was heated.
Yeah, dude. I mean, in the artillery world, I can't see a smoke man taking shit from a PL that way. You know what I'm saying?
And I think it comes down to like culture, man, because like if you look at any other branch in the Army, like they have different setups. But in the artillery, at least in the 13 Bravo Juliet side, there's so many steps that we have to go through to reach those positions. That's why we don't go through rank structures. Like a chief, you're not going to call him sergeant if you're in his section. You're going to call him chief because he was a gunner before. He was a, he went through some steps to get to that level. Mm-hmm. And then just to be smoke, you had to have gone, maybe you were a senior chief, maybe you were a gunnery sergeant, and then now you're the smoke. You went through a bunch of steps to get where you're at. Like and that's what I love about artillery, because it makes it so unique compared to everybody else. Right. I don't know if I can't speak on anybody else, but at least from what I've seen on the infantry side and tankers, there's not that level of responsibility that we put on RMOS and individuals that hold certain positions. Like
Right.
we had to earn everything.
I mean, yeah, dude. I don't think there's a smoke out there that never did Advon. You know what I'm saying? If you were, especially if you were light, you were fucking Advon. You know, advanced party, baby.
Yep.
In mechanized land, they don't have that shit because a gunnery sergeant in mechanized land is ash and trash. They're chow runners. They really don't do shit. Sorry, mechanized. I hate to put your fucking world. Y'all probably don't even know how to use a fucking aiming circle. Meanwhile, in the light side, fucking, I guarantee you that private has fucked around with that circle and started messing with it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, back to it. You know, it boggles my fucking mind, bro, to just think even a gunnery sergeant or even a fucking section chief should have been out there like, hey, Smoke, why the fuck are we still laid out over here and the PL's not here?
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know what unit they were. I don't know what fucking MOS they were. But I'll be
Ooh.
goddamn if my Joes are gonna be out there a dollar bill waiting on a dime. You know what I'm saying? And some
I would have said lock everything up. We'll be back tomorrow morning.
exactly.
Don't I'm not wasting fucking soldiers' time on just sitting around. Like,
You know,
hey,
and as much as I want to blame the PL on this, I blame the fucking NCO for not taking the fucking initiative. I mean, it's in the fucking creed, isn't it?
yeah,
What do we do
but
with the absence of orders?
it it's coming. It's a cultural change because I know we've talked about this, man, and it's a cultural change, and the we're shifting away from like NCOs being knowledgeable, being responsible, being dependent on to do things and make decisions, and it's now we're shifting to a very officer dependent branch where
Okay,
we need to rely on officers. I'm not saying that officers are bad people, but
not at
we're
all.
starting to get to a point where NCOs are having to rely on officers to get things done. We're
So,
not no longer capable of taking action in the absence of orders, as they say.
so wait a minute. So what it sounds like to me is that this shift that's going on is more of NCOs becoming indecisive. In other words, they're scared of fucking making a decision because the LT might get upset that a decision was made without their fucking knowledge.
No, I mean, like, all right. So LT, like, it's not. Let me just clear the air because, like, I've worked with a bunch of great officers and LTs in my
Same,
career. Like,
same.
I love every single one of them that I've ever worked with. Like, they're amazing individuals. I still talk to a lot of them.
Mhm.
It's not really their fault. Like, they fall into the environment just like any soldier. They fall into the environment that's already set
Mhm.
right there. Um, I blame this whole thing on taking away uh, our ability to teach, opportunities for NCOs to teach. So, for example, before we used to have BNOC Phase 2, where soldiers of different MOSs would go and do their secondary school to become staff sergeants, and they would go into this course and learn, general educational stuff that every staff sergeant's supposed to know.
Right. And be
And
not
these classes were taught by NCOs. WLC was very, hey, an NCO is going to teach you this, how to land nav, how to shoot, how to do drill and ceremony so you can become a sergeant. NCOs were teaching this. The
Mhm.
big one that we've talked about was sergeant's time training.
Yes.
That was the main thing that would allow soldiers to see how a class is taught by NCOs. That was like your prime opportunity to boost your confidence as an NCO by teaching a class maybe as a soldier. Because the way I always did it was, or always seen it be done, was you'd have like the E5 of the section, or corporal or whatever, and he'd have an assistant instructor, usually a PFC.
Mhm.
PFC would help you, and then next week the PFC would teach a class on something else. He'd make mistakes, but that was the perfect platform for him to make mistakes. And
Exactly.
by the time by the time you reach staff sergeant, you've already got like hours and hours of class like teaching experience. Like by the time you're even in E5, you're already like what a class is supposed to look like. You know how to instruct people. You know how to stand in front of people and teach them things.
Let
And
me
with that came so much confidence that you're not seeing anymore
Mhm.
because somebody somewhere that was lazy said, "Oh, every day in sergeant's time training."
Right.
Like and it boggles the mind because they're two different things. Your responsibilities as an NCO is every day. Every day you're responsible as an NCO. But sergeant's time training was a dedicated block out of the week where you had maximum participation from your soldiers. Battalion wouldn't touch you, wouldn't task your batteries out on Thursdays. They would leave you alone because that was a sacred hour, just the way or sacred day, just the way PT is right now. Can't mess with anybody during PT. That
Right.
is sacred time. And you could make the argument, oh well, every day is like PT time. We got to stay in shape all the time. So why
Yeah,
didn't
you
we
know what?
why didn't we take that into sergeant's time training? That whole mentality.
Exactly. And I agree with you on that. Sergeant time training, I remember in Korea, we were there, they try to fucking start telling us. I remember early on when I first got there, they wanted us to just worry about the warrior testing drill, the battle drills and shit like that.
Yeah.
But when they start to dictate what I'm going to train, I see a problem because sergeant time training is, like you stated, it's my time to get with my section or us as a platoon and to get together like, okay, we're going to fucking work on this just tasking during this specified time, and like you said, you'd get that young buck E5 out there that bucks aren't to give those classes, because one thing I was taught by Guayo was when you go to WLC or when you go to the PLDC or whatever the fuck it's called now, you're not going to learn, you're going to fine tune skills that you already have. If you're going there to learn something, you're fucking wrong. Because by the time you get there, you should already know how to do counseling statements. You should
And
already know how to fucking land nav. You should
but
already know these things.
but the shitty part is, right, they're so scared of land nav and all that stuff, all those things that you would have been learning at sergeant's time training, that if you go to like a BLC or WLC, whatever they call it, the flavor of the week,
Mm-hmm.
is it's all indoor classroom activities. Like you're not getting any mentorship on what you need to learn.
Right.
We're, it's frustrating, man. Like it really is. Because when I went to WLC in like 2008 or whatever, it felt like I was back in basic training, man. Like they told us to, heel to toe. I had,
Yeah.
Staff sergeants yelling at everybody. They'd call you sergeant, and it sounded so like in the most derogatory way
Right.
you can call somebody a sergeant. Like when they called me sergeant, I knew I wasn't a sergeant. I was like trying to earn that rank.
Right.
That's how it was, and that's how it felt. And it was like a hostile environment, but I paid attention because these dudes that were teaching the class were like staff sergeants.
Where did you go to school at for WLC? Where did you go do it
Uh,
at?
Fort Bliss.
Okay. I did mine in Korea,
Yeah.
over in Camp Jackson.
Yeah.
And we were stuck there, literally fucking there. I think it was a month long back then.
Yeah.
It was a whole month, and it started from day zero. Don't have that packing list fucking right. You done, chief. You are fucking done. And now you got to get your ass whooped by fucking smoke and then first sergeant for setting your ass there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man. We
Dude,
had
and
a
Camp Jackson, bro, every fucking morning, 4:30, you're out there. Your display better be on fucking point. Your bed better be made like basic fucking training style.
the
And
PT mat. I don't know if you guys did it, but the PT mat, it had to be. They would hold it up, and they would hold it against the light. It had to be rolled so tight that you couldn't see through the PT mat. So we had to like bend the tip of the mat backwards and then roll it so no light could penetrate that PT mat.
but you know what? You ask a Joe nowadays that you tell them that that's part of the standards that you had to do, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's so stupid. Why did they have you do that? That's so stupid. What sense does that make? It's so stupid." You know what, dude? It's attention to fucking detail. That's what it is. It's to see if you can do the most basic of tasks that are asked from you.
And do it correctly. And if you can't do it correctly, you keep doing it until you figure it out. Because eventually, science shows from people going through the classes before, you're gonna do it correctly eventually. And if you can't do it, then they just remove you because and then you're not cut out to follow simple instructions.
Right.
Everybody else can do it. You should be able to do it too.
So this cultural shift between officers and NCOs, and I come back to this because as I was getting out, I started noticing that the battery started emphasizing more of the officer-led unit. Now, not to take away, officers lead; they do lead. That's their job, is to fucking plan, PowerPoint and get shit prepared for us, the NCOs, to execute their fucking plan. You know what I'm saying? But to me, it goes back down to that layout bullshit. Why was there not an NCO that grabbed their balls and said, "Hey guys, put the shit away. I'll bite the bullet on this." You know what I'm saying? What happened? And I get it that there's fucking MOSs out there that, for example, the infantry, they gotta listen to that PL down to the last fucking order that he says because he's out there with them in the shit. I get it. High speed, handle your business. But in our world, RPL isn't usually on the line. That motherfucker's in the FDC track or FDC tent. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
there's just I don't know, man. I blame it on weak individuals. Like there's something that people need to understand. Like the most, and people may not agree or whatever, but like, this is from like research and years of this going on. Like the most responsible person in a platoon, believe it or not, like the person that is most responsible for everything is the platoon leader. He is signed for all the equipment. He's signed for everything. Uh, you could fire a platoon leader a lot easier than you can a platoon sergeant. Believe it or not, like because you're the experience. At the end of the day, the guy that's overall assigned for the platoon is the platoon leader, so he can get removed. He comes and goes every 6 months, anyways. You get a new platoon leader every 6 months. The FDO is going to move up or whatever.
Right.
Platoon sergeant's going to be there for a while. Um, but oh man, we're just we're getting to a point where the NCOs are hearing that or seeing that they're the ones in charge and they're just going the easy way out and saying I'm not going to take charge. I don't want to do anything, and I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to pin it all on him. The reason why we always took charge is because it was just a point of pride. We took pride in the fact that we were the most educated like we were the most take charge people. We were proud of the fact that NCOs in our American Army had so much responsibility and could take charge if an LT like went down or
Right.
something. Or we didn't have, you know, somebody to run things. We had a whole bunch of people that could take charge in case this guy was gone. We used to take pride in that, but
Mm-hmm.
now we don't. Now we don't. Not a lot of people cares, and it's starting to trickle down to the privates. And then when you watch like social media pages, they're just taking pictures and like showing you what's going on in the army right now.
Right. And along with that, I think how they say sergeant times training is every day, right? Well, it would be every day if you motherfuckers wouldn't tell me, hey, this guy has to go update his med pros. Hey, this guy needs to go fucking SRP. Hey, this person needs to go take care of his DD93. Was it still, is it DD93?
Yeah,
That's CLI?
yeah, oh yeah.
They're
Every
busy wanting to square that shit away. The admin, that the sergeant times training is fucking gone. You know,
and it's such a and I try not to think about it too much because it pisses me off, man. But it's such a cop out. Like it's just it's BS. Somebody was so lazy that said, let's do away with sergeant's time training because I need my priorities done right now. I want my shit. Fuck the soldiers' development. Fuck
right.
their ability to teach and lead. They could do online training. I don't give a fuck. I need my tasks done. And that's what it came down to. And then that lazy individual said, hey man, you know why I'm doing it this way? Because every day is sergeant's time training. And somebody else heard that and was like, huh, I guess you're right. Yeah. And then they started spreading it like a fucking virus to everybody. And now you don't fucking see it anymore without thinking about the consequences to the army. Now we don't have fucking shark attacks. Now we don't, like, because people don't see the message behind why we do certain things.
Right.
Now soldiers just put on kit without checking their shit, and they've got brass all over the fucking place. We don't shine our fucking boots because somebody said we're too fucking lazy to do it. Granted, we were in the desert, we needed desert boots, but now we're in the fucking garrison environment and you just need a
Yes.
lot of free
Oh
time and
God.
stuff. Well, yeah, but they're not using it fucking productively. Like we're just so lazy. We're so lazy, and we are so far removed from a branch of service. I can go to any base in Europe uh, visit fucking German soldiers, visit fucking Russian soldiers. You know what they're doing? They're fucking shining their boots, they're cleaning their weapons, they're training to fucking kill. If you go to the Russian army or the Chinese army and see what they're fucking doing, they're training 24/7 to kill you and me. What are we fucking doing? Nothing.
Hey, we're fucking updating our goddamn metrics, Chief.
That's right. Oh yeah, we're an S1 function, a medical function is suddenly our priority. We prioritize medical readiness over combat readiness.
Mm.
And for some people, they're like, yeah, but you know what? We got to be fucking medically prepared. I'm sorry, like I didn't update my DD93 this year. Why don't you recommend that we make DD93s valid for 3 years so it's no longer a distraction?
Dude, what fucking kills me of all this bullshit, before we fucking deploy, we got to go through SRP anyway. So I don't give a fuck how many times you could have updated your DD93 a week before SRP. You're still going to go through that shit and make sure everything is valid and updated.
But why have we allowed it to be such a distraction? Why is it something that like they have training meetings?
Who makes those fucking decisions?
They have training meetings that are an hour long just to brief med pros. Doesn't matter if usually people, when I joined, people would be like, hey, my whole section qualified fucking expert at the range. We are combat ready. And then the commander would be like, but so and so didn't fucking go to the NBC chamber. He's not fucking combat ready. You fucking suck. Go back and train. Now it's like, oh, my DD93 is not valid. Oh, you're not gonna win the war. Like, dude, we're supposed to be a fucking army.
Right. We're an army of admin, Chief. And that's probably why officers are running the shit now, because they're all about admin.
And the shitty part, and I've like seen it. Officers are the only ones right now that do have that kind of experience that we used to have. They're the ones that got drilled at land nav when they went through service academies, like ROTC and all that stuff. They spend a lot of time out doing all the tactical training stuff that we used to do in sergeant's time training. Mm-hmm. They're getting all that training. So when they come into the units, you can't look to your left and right and look for an NCO that knows how to like do PMI on an M4, because it's gonna get to that point.
Oh God.
So if Sergeant so-and-so or Staff Sergeant so-and-so doesn't know how to do a PMI, it's going to be like, hey, sir, did you do PMI instruction in the academy? And they're going to be like, yeah, I did. I'll give a class. Thanks, sir, because, we don't have anybody that's trained or certified. That's what it's fucking getting to.
Dude, with you saying that, I mean, okay, so there's NCO business, there's officer business. I don't give a fuck what people say that they're intertwined. You can suck a fat dick. No. Officers do officer shit. Enlisted NCOs, we take care of Joe. That's our fucking job. But what you're saying right now is starting to fucking piss me off, because what if I'm on the fucking gun line all of a sudden, and every round that I shoot, not only do I have to verify the gunner, now the PL has to verify my data. Dude, that's what it sounded like it's going to come to. You see what I'm saying?
And that should light up the light. Why officers, or not even officers, maybe you're like your first sergeant even, or your sergeant major, why they got to fucking check on you? Because they don't fucking trust you. And now we've removed any kind of level of certification, sergeant's time training and BLC blocks of instructions. Like, we don't have any faith in those systems anymore. We don't have any faith in ALCs, SLCs anymore. So you have to, like, when somebody tells you, yeah, I got it, now you got to question. Everything's about trust and verify. That's like the main thing that you're always going to hear is like, I trust you, I need to verify. And then when you got a platoon leader, because now I've caught myself fucked up before. I've had my platoon leader, I've had a platoon leader in Afghanistan like say, dude, you kind of let me down, man, because like we didn't do this the right way. And he was right. He was fucking right, because I got fucking lazy and stuff. And it's just the way the army is going. Like nobody trusts the NCO Corps because we're not as educated as we used to be.
We're not as trustworthy as we were. And that's the fault of, and I like how there was that argument about, only the high speed fucking PT studs get promoted. But then there's a fucking fat NCO, and they were like, oh, how did that fat fuck get promoted? He's out, so it's I blame the fucking promotion system for letting dumbass fucking idiot. Look, some people are fine just being Joes, man. They're good. They're good
Yeah.
Joes. There's nothing wrong with it, but they can't lead. They can't fucking lead, no matter how many times you train them. All right. And that's
You're,
cool. Keep them as a fucking E4 specialist. Good to go. Don't lead.
See,
But
well, I'm kind of I'm a revolutionary, man. Like I like to think, I try to change things. I want to see things change because I want it. Like I know in the promo, you mentioned like he's gonna say whatever he wants because he doesn't give a fuck.
right.
I say whatever the fuck I want because I do give a fuck. This is like the most important thing to me because I know what the army is supposed to look like, and what it should be. And like for me, instantly, if you say, "Hey man, I'm in charge for 2 days," automatically I get rid of the specialist rank completely. I would,
So just make everybody PFCs as high as they can go.
no, I would extend the time and grade for private. There's 120,000 specialists in the active duty army.
Right.
120,000. That's more than any other three pay grades combined. If you look at an Army Times article that came out in like 2004 or
Mhm.
whatever, like they did the calculations, and I'm sure it's on social media anywhere, but 120,000 specialists in the entire army. And then
Okay.
there's a backlog of specialists trying to go into BLC and all that stuff.
Okay.
The easy solution is extend the time and grade requirement for promotion from E1 through E4. Get rid of specialists, turn that into a corporal rank, especially given today's environment. Because now, by the time you make corporal, huh?
Corporal is an NCO rank. How about
You've
I
already
go ahead.
because you've already spent years as a private before you reached corporal.
What
I'm
about
not devaluing. I'm not devaluing the rank of sergeant because by the time you make sergeant, you've already been in the army for a long time. You've already made mistakes as a corporal for a long time. By the time you make sergeant, my philosophy is trying to build up the role as a sergeant to make it more respectable.
right? Okay, and I completely agree with you on that. However, didn't they used to have like technical specialists or specialist one, specialist two,
Yeah.
specialist threes?
So there was like specialist 5 and all that stuff, and you'd see those in the medics. These were guys that weren't that were experts at their field, but you didn't need to give them the responsibility or the pay that went with becoming a sergeant. So they made them specialists. Now they did away with that, but what the army did after the 70s Vietnam era is then that's when the warrant officer rank kind of came in.
That's different though. But what I'm saying is, okay, keep private. PB2 makes no fucking sense to me, or private second class. You're a fucking recruit. You're a fucking private first class. Keep the specialist as the buffer zone to jump into the NCO ranks, but break it down as specialist one, specialist two. And if you don't make that specialist X amount to push you to the NCO corps, then you're just that spec 5 for the rest of your fucking army career.
Yeah, but it's just for me that's just a lazy. It's a
That's not
lazy
lazy.
rank.
Dude, no, there's motherfuckers out there that just don't have any. Have you ever met a motherfucking NCO that should not be wearing goddamn stripes? I've met a lot of them.
So then what you do, I guess what you do is like say you spend 1 year as a E1, and then this helps out the army because you're gonna have an endless supply of worker bees. Because sometimes you're like, shit, I'm out of like privates or whatever. But let's say minimum 3 years before you can make sergeant. So
It is
you're
minimum 2 years, isn't it?
it's about 2 years.
Oh,
Minimum
18
2 years.
months actually, if you come in
Yeah.
as a fucking E4. That's right.
We just hand it though. Like we just fucking like hand it out. Like, oh, you were in the Marine Corps? Fucking here you go. Like those dudes got their shit together, but they don't have specialists.
Right.
They're like they're like fucking lance corporals for like 5 years or whatever the case is, and then they make corporal. By the time they're corporal, they're the equivalent of our staff sergeants.
Well, not only that,
Section chiefs.
where we fucked up, I think so in the army, as in the promotion system, bro, is going to the board was just regurgitating fucking information that are ARs and FMs. Fuck that. My when I took one of my Joes to the E5 board, I made sure that motherfucker knew how to do his job. which included, anything and everything had to be with the gunner or the ATC. You know what I mean? He needed to have that fucking shit down, as well as learning how to do my job. Because at the end of the day, his job is, in case I go down, you take over. But
Yeah.
if you send a motherfucker to just go out there and say, Sergeant Major, the answer to that question is AR 670-1, what the fuck's that doing? Not a goddamn thing. But ask him how to teach you how to fill a radio.
Yeah, practical exercise just to see if you're able to. Actually, I'd go one step further. Is pretend like we're in a classroom setting, and then give me a class for like 10 minutes on any topic that you want. You know, that's you putting your big boy pants on. Figure out a military topic, then teach me something new for 10 minutes, and I want
Bro,
to see you stand in front of me.
have him put together a fucking PowerPoint and teach a class.
Yep. Well, for me, I'm more of a tactical guy. I wouldn't. I'm anti PowerPoint. For me,
You're right.
like I
You're right. You're
fucking
right. Let me take
I,
the PowerPoint off of there. Because
I
remember what they
fucking
told.
hate. I
Yeah.
hate PowerPoints. I hate fucking spreadsheets. I hate that fucking the worst thing that could happen to us was fucking uh, group chats and fucking Microsoft Office. It just crippled us because now we're so dependent on slides.
Yeah.
If somebody says like, I've seen people, I've seen a slide with so many different fucking stars and arrows going in this way, and like
But
it looked like a physics slide.
let me ask you, because my biggest issue that I'm having is I remember first sergeants would stand up to first to sergeant majors, or not stand up, but at least plead a case to the stupidity that they would have us do sometimes. Or this are sergeant majors not saying shit to their commanders. I mean, they're supposed to be there to fucking, aren't they the liaison? Aren't they supposed to be like there to help each other and assist in guidance? You
No,
know,
they, no, there's
dude, I looked at
it's
the
not their
fucking
it's not their focus, man, because they're not being. It's not really them. I want to say it's at the commander level above them that's telling them like, I don't care what you're doing. I want to make sure that MedPros is up to date. It's not that I've never met a sergeant major that didn't really care about individual like soldiers. I've met some sketch ones, but at the end of the day, they were soldiers. They really care about the individuals. The same goes for first sergeants and master sergeants, and down the line, like these dudes really fucking care. But their mission at the end of the day is to be green on fucking med pros,
right.
or else it's their ass because they've already seen them. First sergeant or sergeant major X, Y, and Z get relieved because they couldn't get the shit together. So it's not that they don't care, but they're just so overwhelmed with like, they can go into an office and be like, "Hey, sir, we are green for the next 2 months, and we are good to go." And then the sergeant major or the general will be like, "Oh, you're green for the next 2 months. What about the next 4 months? Since you got all this time." And now the dude's like, "Shit, I'm never gonna get any fucking rest." Or like train see that my dudes are trained in land nav or fucking going to the range. Now I got to go back, go through my little fucking PowerPoint or my metric slides and see who's due in the next 4 months, and then take it back. And then he's going to tell you, oh well, what about 6 months? Let's make that amber.
I just don't get. Again, I don't understand how, because we're like completely diverting from the officer-led army, unless somehow or another you can inform me how the NCO Corps has lost its fucking backbone.
There's poor education. Poor education is the primary thing. We're skipping through shit. We're no longer making things difficult to earn. Basic training no longer difficult to earn.
Oh
It's
God.
fucking like, here you go. You'll get the rest of your training at your first unit.
You know what? I'm okay with that one right there. When we were in the wartime, because it was
Yeah,
like, okay, got you. Hey, this is all the basic shit you're gonna need. You'll learn the rest of this in your unit. You learn
yeah,
the, and that's
but
cool.
now they're
When you
now
don't have to
they're
pass a fucking PT test, that right there, my friend, is a fucking problem.
because it made no sense. The argument makes no sense not to pass a PT test in basic training. Because all right, say you blame it on corona, right? We're not going to do a PT test, coronavirus. We're still doing PT though, but we're just going to push them out to the units and then just wait it out. Okay. I heard you. Benefit of the doubt, COVID. Got you. Say COVID goes away, and now you didn't change your schedule, your PT schedule. You're still doing the PT the way you did it before, and now you got to test them at the end of the year. And it's like, well, you know what? We didn't test them before, and we realized that our
Diagnostic.
numbers. Let's just push them out, and they'll get tested when they get to their next unit. We just do an introduction to PAT here, and then you start lowering the fucking standards. And then now it's like up to the unit because now you're not getting fucking people that are disciplined because it's like, oh, all that DNC stuff, maybe they'll get it at their unit. Let's get rid of this. Eventually, basic training is going to be online to where like you do an online course with your recruiter, you do the second half for like one semester, and then when you report to your next unit, there'll be a checklist that says make sure you get a haircut, make sure you bring your certificate of graduation, your PowerPoint picture, and then this, and then you just report to the unit, and then you just see you, and you're like, oh, okay, let me just scan this. Welcome to the unit. You didn't earn shit.
Dude, yes, it makes no sense to me, bro. And it really doesn't. Again, it all to me, it just goes back to this fucking it just goes back to that seeing that layout, man. And I don't understand why the NCO didn't have the balls to say, slam that shit up. I'll see y'all in the fucking morning. You
Just weak
know,
dudes. It's just a bunch of weak dudes, and I'm telling you, like, if you don't, if you how you conduct yourself as a platoon sergeant or NCO in that platoon affects that officer. Because at the end of the day, the LT's got a lot of stuff on his plate,
right?
and he's gonna take your failures or your successes to help, and he's gonna see that, and that's his first impression of NCOs, like in the work environment. And then when they become commanders, and be like, I don't fucking trust any of you. I'm gonna micromanage the shit. And if they have a weak first sergeant, as commanders or whatever, that's not there to say, hey, sir, let me mentor you where your platoon sergeants failed you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me guide you, provide you some advice.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's missing that part. And then he becomes a major where he's independent, as an XO at a battalion. He doesn't give a fuck. And then when he makes a battalion commander, he's gonna be like, dude, I ain't gotta listen to a fucking sergeant major. I
Right.
ain't gotta, your input doesn't matter.
So I mean, as a even to me, dude, as a I give officers the respect they deserve. You know, they deserve because you respect the rank, not the person.
Yep.
At the end of the day, but at that moment when they failed to when the NCO failed to make the decision of hey, put the shit away, I'll see y'all tomorrow. That right there, it's just a broken um it's just a broken fucking battery or a unit. It's just broken, dude. Because
We're our priorities are fucked up.
well, no, I mean, if anything, I would have as an NCO, I would have been like, hey guys, y'all go home. I'll stay here. I'll wait for the LT, and be like, sir, what the fuck? Or I would have been texting that LT, like, sir, why the fuck are we still here? You know what I'm saying?
We're just, dude. Like I said, lack of education. We are fucked up. We're so busy trying to. Everybody's got ambitions in the military. People have forgotten that you're in the army to kill, and that's the kind of the problem that any organization is going to have is especially when you combine non-combat arms with combat arms, and you start combining the two so they're fluid. You
Mhm.
start taking on the mentalities of the non-combat arms that's more civilian, that treats the work environment like a civilian side.
Right.
It's not what we used to do because we were separated. We were segregated from each other. We had
Right.
combat and then combat support and stuff. Now everybody's trying to mix things, interchangeable, and with like the same standards, across the board. Now we're taking this mentality of like, hey, I am in charge of this battery or this battalion. I am therefore a CEO of this organization. And there people, the Marines will publish a list of books that you got it, like the commandant's reading list
Right.
every year. These are my top 50 books that you should read by the end of the year, that everybody from sergeant major, general, all the way down to the lowest fucking private needs to read so they educate themselves. And
Right.
people get quizzed on the shit. What do we do as an army? Hey, I need you to read this book on how to be a CEO by Simon Sinek, and because we gotta do this. We gotta fucking buzzwords. Teamwork. Like,
Right.
dude, no. Read, go fucking online and read an AUSA fucking article about military or the history of the army. Why do we have platoon leaders? Why do we have platoon sergeants?
Right.
What, like, fucking, why do we do things as an army? The battles that we have won. Let's learn from the mistakes of the past, and then educate yourselves on being fucking warriors.
So what's the
Like,
job of the NCO? What is NCO business?
we enforce the policies, the SOPs. Let me just make sure I get all the fucking things here, because it's just more than just teach and mentor and coach. There's more to it.
Mhm.
um
Hmm.
Fuck it.
See, this is what
There's
happens when you
rules.
try to research shit.
Yep.
Okay, see, this guy right here is doing the officer mentality shit right
Yep.
here. Look,
No,
he already has the officer
because I want
haircut,
to because I
and
want to make sure that every corner is fucking, every T is fucking crossed, all right, and I is dotted, all right. Our job is to enforce the SOPs, the regulations, the standards, set the standard, fucking, like, and then train. We make the machine move. We make the fucking shit happen. The officers plan. They fucking say, go fucking kill this guy. And then we come in and say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to fucking kill him. And this is how we're going to fucking do it. And then we kill him. We are the knife there, or we are the gun with the fucking round. And then they are just the optic on top. They say, you see that target? Kill it. And then we kill it. That's what we fucking do. We, we are the machine that makes it go. The conductors of this fucking train. They design the train. They tell the train how fast to go. We fucking drive the fucking train.
bam, I like that. So basically, they lay the railroad track, we run the train.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So damn, this motherfucker had go all that shit just to say that. All right. So here's what I say. Like I said, yeah, to me, the NCO, we're the executors. We're the fucking trainers, the supervisors, the mentors, the coaches. We do all of that shit. All right. And we are the ones, we're supposed to set the example for the next fucking Joe. Joe is supposed to want to be like you, you know? But unfortunately, we had so many fucking NCOs that rather be friends with their fucking Joes. You know what I mean? And again, all about, I respect officers, but when officers try to jump in my lane, which would be try to discipline Joe, no, sir, that's me. I got this. I'm gonna smoke him. You ain't smoking him. I'm smoking him. Now you can recommend what should be done. As far as like, I think he should be, Article 15 or whatever. But sir, I deal with him. I know what he needs. I know how to fix this. Now, if that doesn't work, maybe we'll go your route. But stay in your lane,
And,
sir.
it's gonna come down to trust.
Right.
Now we don't trust the NCOs to do any of that. We don't trust NCOs to
But how do
to
you get that
correct.
LT to trust you? How do you get that LT to trust you?
We're supposed to, before we had avenues to where an LT would look at you and be like, he knows what the fuck he's doing. Right now, artillery is not really suffering too much because we still go out to the field, and then smoke will be out there, the chiefs will be out there slanging rounds, and the LT will see that and be like, man, that's how the mission's getting fucking done and stuff. But like, we in garrison, we've taken away the tools that we used to have for them to see us executing and making shit happen and planning and coordinating things.
That PL then, okay, you know what? It boils down to the fucking platoon sergeant. The platoon sergeant is the biggest fucking he's the biggest influencer of that LT. That young LT is the platoon sergeant. You know what I mean? And if you got a weak ass platoon sergeant showing, getting walked all over by a fucking LT, that's as wrong as two boys fucking, because sometimes you don't do it obviously in front of the Joes, but you take that PL like, hey, sir, let me talk to you for a second. Hey, check it out, sir. I'll salute you and I'll bob my head up and down and say, yes, sir. But when it comes to some shit, let me guide you on how to do this, sir,
I've
with all
always
due respect.
I've always taken the approach where like whenever I see anybody, even as a young soldier, just from like seeing my smokes do it and stuff, is I always see any like platoon leader or even a soldier as a future person in charge of somebody someday.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so whenever I interact, I don't want to create a hostile environment where soldiers see like me and the platoon leader like
Right,
fucking fighting all the time. I want
right.
them to see that we're an effective team to where like if he's not there or she's not there, I'm in charge, taking charge. If I'm not there, I can trust that the machine will keep going because I'll have staff sergeants that will be able to step up. That way the platoon leader can focus on what he's supposed to focus on, and that's planning the fucking mission and fucking providing the resources that we need to execute the mission.
Fucking A. Thank you. See what happens when you don't read your goofy ass notes? You talk from the
Yeah.
heart
Oh man.
because you're talking from experience, obviously.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, for
And
example, let me give you an example. Let's say you're a weak ass smoke. And I mean, I've met only maybe 2 or 3 smokes that I thought were weak as fuck, had no business being there because they just Gunny ran the show. Let's just say Gunny ran the fucking show, you know. And if you show up, let's say but you think you're a strong smoke, you know what I'm saying? You think you're fucking all Billy badass. How long do you think it'll take before that LT runs you down because you're fucking weak? I mean, I think that LT or not even LT, any officer can fucking read a person's fucking aura. Like, okay, this guy is fucking bullshit. Is it something that comes down from the commander, the battery commander? Be like, hey, this guy, you're gonna be having to make sure that he does everything right. You know what I'm saying?
it could, yeah. I don't see why not. Or even the first sergeant could come up to the LT and be like, "Hey, sir, like you're gonna have your handful with this smoke."
Well,
I
didn't that
I
first sergeant in turn then put that fucking that smoke somewhere in battalion?
no, because he's not in your chain. He's not the first sergeant's not in your rating chain. It's the PL and the battery commander.
Uh,
And and of course, the NCO, the first sergeant's got a lot to say about it, but I think I mean, I've never been in that position, but I want to say that it's a higher thing of who assigns a smoke where, because really, I as a smoke, I'd get my mentorship uh, mostly from my first sergeant, just because we worked in close proximity to each other. But it was supposed to be the sergeant major
our major that
who,
mentors you, yeah,
who's trying to groom you into becoming a first sergeant someday.
right.
And so he's the one, if he doesn't know, because I've seen before as a private or whatever, young sergeant, like where like the sergeant major will come in and be like, "Smoke, you suck, get the fuck out, switch him out."
You know what just popped into my fucking head? Why we're going more towards an officer-led fucking unit? Because these poor officers, as butter bars, had some kind of shitty experience with some NCOs that got promoted too fucking early that had no business being promoted. And then next thing you know, they become a battery commander and they're like, you know what, dude? Nah, you're gonna take over this shit because these NCOs don't know shit.
So
And now go ahead.
if you ever want to do some self-reflecting, if anybody's ever like was an NCO and wants to know what an officer or somebody that used to be an LT, what their opinion of their smoke or platoon sergeant was, I'd Google fucking AUSA, the fucking platoon sergeant platoon leader relationship, and it's an article by AUSA, came out May 1st, 2012. Look it up, and it's got like 9 or 10 first lieutenants
Mhm.
that have had platoon sergeants before, and it tells you how each of them experienced, what their experience was like. A lot of it was positive. Like, I came into the platoon as a brand new platoon leader. My platoon sergeant pulled me aside and said, "I'm going to make things happen. If you fail, I failed. I
Mhm.
take it personal." That was one guy. Another guy came in, and his platoon sergeant was garbage, didn't ever do PT, was always out of breath, didn't know shit, inexperienced, immature, all this shit. And the platoon leader had to like take charge of all this stuff. Just
Right.
different experience from different perspectives. and all of them had the same thing in common, which was that they all, by the time they became company, battery, or troop commanders, like their relationship with their platoon sergeant affected how they became commanders,
Got it.
and
It-
the levels of trust that they had in the NCO Corps as a whole
yeah.
was a reflection of their relationship with that platoon sergeant.
You
So
know,
I've never tried to be too egotistical where like, it's my show, I run everything, I do everything. I always kept the platoon leader informed because I wanted him to have that kind of trust in me that I wasn't trying to keep anything a secret from him.
right.
There's certain things that I wouldn't tell him because it was out of his, I felt like it was out of his jurisdiction. I'm not gonna tell him, hey sir, like I just want you to know that Private Dicky like showed up late. That's not,
That's not
don't
a
worry about that shit. We handle it because we got fucking 20 dudes that are paid the big bucks as NCOs to handle that shit.
dude.
I'll probably, if I let you know, whatever, but it's none of your fucking business.
Look, man. Um, again, I don't know if I'm sure I've told this story a few times already, but I got into an argument with a PL. He was the XO, I guess. I don't even know why the fuck we have an XO in artillery world. Anyway, so he was our PL, and I was in charge of headquarters platoon, and in there you got your fucking supply, NBC, arms room, all that good shit, right? And anyway, so they were doing their fucking I think it was the monthlies, their fucking inventory bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he had sent my supply guy and my NBC guy to a Connex to go look for some shit. All right. So they went to go look for this shit. And anyways, lunchtime came about and I saw my guys coming like, hey, where y'all headed to, man? And like, oh, we're gonna go to lunch. When we come back from lunch, we're gonna go ahead and hit that shit back. All right, cool, too easy, man. Go ahead and roll out. So they were just gonna go get something quick to eat and come right back, right? So anyways, this person, he was a first lieutenant, comes up and he's bitching at first sergeant about, where these two guys are at. And I told him, hey, sir, I let them go to, they went to lunch. I let them go to lunch. And he's like, what the fuck are they doing at lunch? I need to go find this shit. And like, and then he said something along the lines of, I'm going to lock them in their fucking supply cage until they get the job done. So I don't care if it was fucking being sarcastic or not, but I know I told him, no, sir, you're not. And he's like, what? I'm like, you're not going to lock them in the cage, sir. They're going to go to fucking lunch when they go to lunch. That's their time to go to lunch. So anyways, it became a dick measuring contest.
I've had,
I,
I've
I
had an,
and I wouldn't allow myself to bow down, I guess you could call it. All right. At the end of the day, it got into a shouting match, and my first sergeant cut it right there. And first sergeant was like, Staff Sergeant Lopez, that's enough. So that PL got up and he walked out, and then of course I got my ass ringed by my first sergeant, and he was telling me of how he could recommend me for Article 15 and this and that and that, and I just Roger first sergeant, but I'm not. I was wrong for what I did, which was try to measure my dick with him in that way, especially since there were other folks around. But at the same time, I didn't want to show that I was a punk or a pussy. You know what I'm saying? That's just that's just the man in me, you know. And
my
go ahead.
my job, I've always prided myself on it, is I think I mentioned it with maybe one or two platoon leaders, is like sir, like you know I'm here to protect your career. My success is your success. Like I mentioned earlier, like if they fail, I take it personally, because it's like, why did I am the most experienced guy and somebody else is going to take the blame for my fucking failures. So like any position very fucking seriously, and I take it personally. Like it just, especially if I'm working, or if I'm working with an officer, like they can get fired in the fucking heartbeat, and I don't want them to be like, I got fired because I had a shitty fucking NCO. And so yeah, it's a lot. It,
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'll tell you what. This discussion is not going the way I thought it should have been going. But anyway, no, honestly, in all honesty, dude, I mean, it really comes down to officers need to mind their business, which is, you plan, sir, you do what you got to do. Why is it that you never see officers calling cadence, bro? You know,
well,
if
that's
you
more.
tell me that you've had officers calling cadence in your unit,
No, thank God. because that's when, but it's gonna get there because they're gonna be the only ones that know how to do it. They're because soldiers now probably don't fucking do it. Like,
Dude,
I don't
I
know.
used to want to do that shit as a private. And my chief, back when I was a private, he would call your ass out there. Hey, Lopez, go call some cadence. And of course, I only knew one cadence at that time, which we all fucking are tired of hearing. But hey, I don't give a fuck. I sang the shit out of that.
Because we took away the platforms, man. It's all gonna be online pretty soon. Everything's gonna be online. You gotta like sing cadence like C-130 rolling down the strip, and then a device, an app is gonna calculate your cadence skills and give you a score, and then you'll get a badge because the army loves badges. You get a cadence
Dude,
caller badge, and then that's it. You ain't gotta call fucking cadence anymore.
dude,
Like
I'm
it's
telling you, bro, it's fucking ridiculous. And all of this shit boils back to basic training as well. You know, you took out DNC. If DNC is not in there, that wasn't just and I'm gonna focus more on the standards of soldiers nowadays. Because I mean I try to talk about officer business, NCO business, but I don't know. That one's mm, I think
we'll go in circles all day on that
yeah.
one.
But I mean honestly, I think NCOs need to grow their fucking backbone back. And I'll hold the ones responsible for that is the platoon sergeant. Platoon sergeants are not fucking teaching or guiding their fucking staff sergeants. But anyways, and officers, y'all gentlemen, y'all keep doing your hard work, but work with your platoon sergeant. And platoon sergeant saying work with your PL. Because together is how shit needs to work and how it
We
needs
just
to
need to
get
make
done.
more. We need to make more educated,
So when you say
confident.
educated, competent, I can understand. Educated, you make it sound like these motherfuckers need to go to college to become a fucking NCO.
No, educated on basic things like how to teach something, right?
Well,
Subject matter
yeah, dude.
experts.
Then yeah, because all
Like
this time,
educated on how to be a soldier, how to wear the uniform, what the regulations are
dude.
on things.
So
Educate
basically,
yourself.
let's take educated out of there because when you say educated, motherfuckers like me are thinking this motherfucker trying to tell me to go back to school. Fuck no.
Yeah, go to the school of army is what I'm saying.
Right. Okay. So become competent because you know what?
Yeah.
Within the fucking creed, it says what? What's my fucking watchword? What's my fucking watchword? Competence is my fucking watchword. All right. I've been out for 5 fucking years and I can still spit that goddamn creed out. But you know what? Competence is my watchword. God damn it. Then live to it, motherfucker. Don't just don't talk about it, be about it. You're gonna fucking be an NCO. Don't be a fucking stripe wearer. Be a motherfucking NCO. Get out there. That LT's trying to tell you that you can't put that shit away. You tell him, hey, sir, with all due respect, we've been out here waiting on you. So you know what? You want to go ahead and do this layout? You can do it by your goddamn self with your other motherfucking LTs that decided that y'all wanted to be in a fucking meeting and not to give anybody any updates. But anyways, rant over. Sorry, I got into that one a little heated. My
And
bad.
you know what? The little voice that's supposed to have that voice and that level of intensity comes in and says, "Hey, you can't be raising your voice anymore. We gotta. I'm gonna have to pull you aside, and then we're gonna do a quick PowerPoint on
Yeah, and that could suck a fucking
anger
fat nut,
anger
bro.
problems."
Yeah, for real, dude. Don't even go there. I got told.
Oh,
I had a
you need to
motherfucker.
holster that knife hand, okay? They do this now. You can't
I
be
haven't.
can't be
I did
pointing.
not use a knife hand. I did not use a knife hand during that rant. Not that I know of. But no, dude. And to me, it boils back down to motherfucking to the standards because these NCOs that are up there now. They're not fucking holding themselves to the standard. They're not being the standard bearer. They're fucking creating new standards by not fucking enforcing the standard. You know what I'm saying? And let's go take this back. Like I said, I'm gonna take this back to basic fucking training, to fucking DNC. All right. I'll put it to you like this: when I have an image of a fucking soldier in my mind, that motherfucking soldier looks crisp, motherfucking shiny ass boots, goddamn creases on their motherfucking blouses and on their motherfucking trousers. Those trousers should crack when you're opening them up, like they did with the BDUs. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the image that I have. You're proud of wearing that motherfucking uniform. You look good. You feel good. You know what I'm saying? God
That's
damn, I'm a motherfucking soldier. Hold up. But that boils back down to having pride in your motherfucking self as a soldier. Check this out. You take DNC out. What was one of the best? Yeah, we don't fucking fight in columns and files anymore. We don't do that. But guess what? We had competitions on that shit when we were in basic training of who the fuck sounded good when they did their goddamn inspection arms and who sound like fucking popcorn. You had inspections of who looked good when they march. They look fucking fly as fuck when they're going through. You know, look at a goddamn Marine platoon in fucking Fort Sill. All right. Lance fucking corporals marching other fucking privates from point A to point B. And then go look at a group of fucking SLC senior leadership course NCOs marching from point A to point B. Tell me who looks like fucking hot garbage. I'll tell you who, that goddamn SLC class. Because you got a bunch of goddamn NCOs who got their rank based on who they knew and regurgitating fucking ARs and FMs.
it's a
Go ahead.
it's just cultural. It's cultural now, man. Like it's
What cultural? The culture that we should care about is the army culture, the
it's
soldier
not.
culture, the warrior culture. All
I
right, we're
mean,
not fucking 42 alphas. We're not motherfucking the trumpet players in a goddamn army band. We're fucking killers. We're supposed to be 13 fucking bangers. 13 banger, baby.
it's not. It's not what the. It's not what big army wants anymore, man.
Oh, fuck
They,
you. No.
they want you to.
Who? Oh, hi.
Hi, I'm pretty sure we can hear you cussing. Urena, what are you saying to piss him off so much?
He's not pissing me off. It's the
We
whole
were talking about the Mandalorian season 2 premiere.
dude, baby Yoda better be fucking good.
Probably lower your volumes at this point.
I apologize if I busted eardrums, but it's just I become passionate when it becomes something about the NCO structure because I can't stand seeing a sergeant. Look, dude, and I hate to call you out if you're hearing this, Sergeant Hardaway, but there was no reason that that man should have ever had any fucking stripes, bro. Ever. He was a fucking sergeant, bro, in our maneuver platoon. Our maneuver platoon is, you know, in case these motherfuckers are most likely to be in ticks. All right. Sergeant Hardaway, with all due respect, you shouldn't even have been in the army. All right. Honestly. And I'm not even trying to say this to be funny, bro. This guy had no reason being in the fucking army, but yet he got fucking stripes. And I guarantee you, it was one of those automatic promotions. You know what I mean? What the fuck are automatic fucking promotions? They had automatic promotions to fucking E6, bro. Oh, he's got this much time in service. So the fuck what?
It comes down to education. If we don't have those, the great thing about the army was that we'd have checks and balances where we'd see failures at the point of where you promote or select somebody for promotion. If you know that you have a failure, a gap in that area, then you make up for it by doing other stuff. Like if I know that my battalion does that just automatically promotes people, you know, if they fucking can recite, you know, what does AR 600-9 mean? Army Body Composition Program. Okay, and you know that they're gonna get promoted. If I'm the NCO and I'm seeing that that's how they're doing it, then we are the ones that are like, hey, you know, we're still gonna maintain the standards. We're gonna run this dude through 20 fucking boards, and that way, when we set him up there, at least he earned his shit because he worked for it.
Right.
We took care of what we had to do it.
There was
I mean, now everything's like counselings and all that shit, but like it's just, and it's like, yeah, I'm lazy. I'm not gonna fucking lie anymore. Like I've gotten to the point where I'm just disillusioned. I'm disillusioned with this because like I don't feel like I am considered a dying breed, man. Like I am stuck. I am stuck in my old ways. I'm always thinking of things, training events as a future fight, as a future
You
as a
train as you fight, right?
as a war experience. If I go to NTC and they're like react to fucking mortars, I'm thinking don't fucking do that because that's not what you're gonna fucking do when we take mortars. Well, that's what the Chinese are gonna do. No, dude, you do it this fucking way because it makes sense. Like but I am wrong in the eyes of a lot of people because I think that way.
Right.
But that's just the generation I came in. I
You're not, you're
volunteered.
not you're not evolving with the fucking army, right?
And I'm not going to, man. I'm not going to change. Kick me out fucking tomorrow because I'm not going to change who I am or how I fucking. I got to this point because of who I am.
Mhm.
Because for me, the most important thing in the army is to train people to live, to survive. Okay. My
Right.
biggest success, biggest fucking accomplishment in the last 2 years was coming back from Afghanistan with the full platoon that I went there
Fuck
with
yeah.
all their fucking limbs intact
That's
and
how you
no
want to
fucking
do that. That's how you measure your goddamn success. That's
that for
goddamn
me
right.
that for me is success. At the time, people were like, "Give us pictures of what you guys are doing and all this crazy shit." I'm like, dude, for me, that's not even in my spectrum of what I care about. Like, I do not give a fuck. I want to make sure that my people come back alive because at the end of the day, if something happens to them, I am having to write their parents. And I know some of these people won't fucking do that, but I was fully prepared to call somebody's parents and tell them that I fucking failed them.
Right.
And then or tell the platoon leader that, hey, look, it's my fault that Private Snuffy fucking died because I didn't train them hard enough. I didn't fucking teach them what they were supposed to fucking learn. Like it's just that for me is the biggest fucking accomplishment in my fucking career was being able to be put in a position as a fucking smoke and then bringing people back. Not a fucking award, not a fucking coin, none of that shit. I don't give a fuck. And that is an old school way of thinking for a lot of fucking people, and I will not change it for anybody. I
Right.
don't give a fuck.
And that's the way it's supposed to be, bro. You know, like you said, dying fucking breed. You know what's fucked up is the NCOs that we came up with that are now retiring, you know, or have retired already. They were the fucking cream of the fucking crop to me. You know, like our drill sergeants, cream of the fuck. I didn't fear them out of just fear. I feared them because out of respect. You know what I mean? I knew what I was getting into when I joined the military. I knew there was a war going on. I knew
And,
the possibility of dying was there.
and I
And,
took offense. And I took offense to this guy who justified the change away from shark attacks. I took offense to what he said. I took it very personal because he said that uh, shark attacks erode the trust between the private and an NCO. And so when I hear that, I take that as you're telling me that you do not remember your drill sergeants, that you do not trust them, that you do not trust them to teach you, because I remember mine. They, one of them, I may or may not have been punched in the fucking stomach, but I didn't care about that. I trusted these individuals. They could have stepped on my fucking face for all I cared, but they were teaching me shit that was going to keep me alive. And that's how I looked at them. And I'll never lose that fucking trust. So for somebody to say, oh, well, you know, we can't be too aggressive and all this shit, it's architects, ruin the trust. You're telling me that you were trained wrong. You're telling me that you had a bad experience, that you're fucking weak. And that's what I'm fucking hearing.
and what's fucking worst of all, that this son of a fucking bitch is a 13 banger, bro.
I don't know who I don't know who approved this, who made these changes, who initiated all this stuff, because this to me is a TRADOC
Yeah.
recommendation.
But
And
it's
of
a
course,
good idea,
they
Barry.
got approved.
Who's all
Maybe somebody had the opportunity to put in their 2 cents.
Oh, dude, I'm
Because
fucking.
anybody,
I'm done. I'm done. You know who it was? I can tell you who it was already. It was some fucking goddamn ROTC fag that went there and went through basic training, and then after that he went to OCS and realized, you know, I think that if we do it this way, we'll gain more confidence. Get the fuck out of here, motherfucker! If it's worked for the past 2 fucking 100 years,
and
don't
but
reinvent the wheel.
here's the thing though, man. Like the only people right now, I mean, that are getting fucking in-depth land nav training, in-depth marksmanship training. Uh, they get yelled at from day one for a whole year straight
Mhm.
are officers.
Yeah.
Uh, people forget it's like, hey, you know, I'm not going to take advice or any input from this guy you've never worked in your life. Officers, benefit of the doubt, they've gone through 4.5 years of training to commission.
Okay.
They've been
But
mentored.
you're
The
talking
problem
about
is,
West Pointers.
uh, and other guys that are in ROTC that are managing college and doing ROTC at the same exact time. When they put on that uniform, they're having to do menial tasks just like everybody
Right.
else or whatever. The problem there is their mentors are enlisted people, the
Right.
people, the instructors of military science or whatever it's called. They're the ones that are supposed to be like pushing out all this information to them, but there's like gaps. Maybe they're seeing these instructors as shitbags because they're getting lazy or whatever, and they're losing that respect. So by the time they get to their first unit, they're like they already have a preconceived notion of what their NCOs are going to be like.
You know what? That makes a lot of fucking sense. So that's why they're jumping into NCO business,
Yeah,
because the NCOs that are teaching these new
and just
soon to be.
think of your high school teachers, your college teachers when you're in school, right? You had a few that were really legit, that were fucking amazing instructors. You know, like, you know, your math teacher was probably strict, your econ teacher was amazing, but that English teacher sucked ass, you know, and you're always going to remember that.
Right.
And now they're going through ROTC and they've got like these NCOs who can't teach a class, who can't fucking who can't teach you how to do marksmanship, can't do this and stuff. And they're like, dude, these guys fucking suck. And we're going to be in charge of these guys in like 3 years. You know,
And you
like,
know what? With that also being said, when I say, taking charge of your fucking platoon as a platoon sergeant or even a section chief, I'm not talking about, being an asshole or having to yell all the time or fucking having to scream, but it's grabbing your balls and being confident about what the fuck you're doing. Know your goddamn job. God damn it, dude. Like, I wish I could still be in, but at the same time, I don't, because I would have been fucking fired by now. Especially with the females in line, I would have been done. I would have been fucking done. And I'm not taking away anything from the females being in the army in the fucking 13 Bravo land. I'm just against it because male, females, fuck. The end.
my, they're, they're a
I know you.
product,
Mhm.
they're a product of the environment they fall in. Okay. Like that's me firsthand experience. Not their fault. Just like anybody, you get to a unit, you are a piece of clay,
Mhm.
random clay, and it's up to the unit to really mold you into what you're going to be like. And if the unit mold is fucked up because it's got cracks in it and shit, then you're going to have fucking cracks in your fucking final configuration when you get molded. So
Look, dude, what I'm saying is biologically, men and women are attracted to each other.
so are,
Biologically.
so are guys, so are dudes.
Okay.
I know what you're getting at.
Okay. So there's gonna be one, let's say there's one girl on the gun line. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna end up wanting one of them dudes. If she's
No. No.
you're gonna tell me that she's during deployment, you're gonna tell me that it's not gonna possible. There's not even a
You
remote
created an
possibility.
environment. If you create an environment where they have so much time where they can think about that kind of stuff, and I say they, and
Oh, wait
I
a
say
minute. So you
they.
tell me that hormones are something that you can fucking just be like, if the opportunity shows up and homegirl is horny and she wants to fuck somebody, she's gonna look for the most alpha motherfucking male there and go fucking get railed by him.
No,
Get the fuck out of here.
no, sorry, man. If you create that environment,
The fuck out of that.
I'm telling, dude, I am telling you, if you create the environment, then you allow it. If you create an unprofessional environment,
Let me
then
ask you
people are
something.
going to act
Okay, I'm
unprofessionally.
gonna even take the gun line out of this. I'm gonna take the gun line out of this. Let's just say on deployment, do men and women fuck or not?
I'm sure they do.
You're sure they do, right?
Yeah.
They do. Why?
Human nature. I know what you're
Human
getting at.
fucking nature, right?
But when does that happen? Do they do that on patrol?
They do it on their off time, right?
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that they're gonna be in the middle of a fucking mission and she's gonna bend over and get the dick doggy style. What I am saying is that there's
Is it my concern? Like, so if they do it, right, are we in agreement that if they do this off duty, you go, you're 1700 hit, 1730, I'm gonna go beat some guts.
okay.
1730.
Here's the issue. What I'm getting at, just hypothetically speaking, Jane comes to the fucking section. Jane finds Joe attractive.
Okay.
Joe finds Jane attractive.
All
All right, cool. Jane and Joe hook up, but Jerry likes Jane, and Jane doesn't like Jerry like that.
Okay.
That causes tension because
So whose fault is it? Is
that's
it
Jerry's fault for fucking,
Jerry's fault, right?
But hold on, but there's more. Jane and Joe decide they break up. They're no longer together. Is that going to cause tension?
If they're professional.
Get the fuck out of here with that fucking bullshit, professional bullshit. Because they were professional, they would have never been fucking in the first place.
Okay, so here's why this is important. This is important, right?
Okay.
You've only been working with dudes for 20 years. Picture that, right? And then you get out. You don't have the skills necessary to work in an environment with women now. I can't work with you anymore. You don't have marketability in a office close environment because it's going to take you a lot longer to adjust to a co-gender environment. You're going to say some shit that you thought was normal before because you didn't have to worry about working with women before. So you're going to say some shit that's off the cuff in a setting. Say you're by the water cooler with two other dudes and you're like, hey, I'm back with some boys. I'm talking, hey man, did you check out that chick? But you forget your surroundings now. And now you're working with women, and Debbie over in the cubicle one row over heard all the shit that you were saying. She's not going to talk to you because this isn't the army anymore where they confront the problem directly. They go straight to HR and drop in a fucking note.
Okay. And with that said, though, but being professional, I shouldn't have been having that conversation anyway.
Yeah, but you didn't work in a professional environment before.
Oh, but I thought you said we're supposed to be professional.
Yeah, but you didn't work in that professional environment before.
But we're supposed to.
In general.
I'm just saying. So I'm not saying I'm not taking anything away from the
last thing. And here's the thing. Here's the last thing on that.
Sure.
Everybody else in the army, that's already been mixed before, they can do it. They've done
that's
it.
Cool.
And so, are you telling me that that we can't do it? That we don't have the skills necessary to handle working with women? That we don't have the self-control?
I'm not saying that the skills are not there, but here's the thing. I'm saying, wouldn't you want to mitigate that headache anyway?
No, because what happens before, go back 10 years. What happens if you see a female soldier, you're a 13 Bravo, you see a female soldier whose uniform is fucked up. Are you going to approach her to correct her?
Goddamn right.
And you're like, because I don't want to get a sharp complaint.
Well, I was fucking brought up with you correct that shit.
But would you? Would you think other people would, though, that are 13 Bravo?
I think nowadays, the way things are, fuck no.
I think nowadays, male soldiers, regardless of MOS, are more likely to correct a female deficiency that a female has with her uniform or whatever. More likely, because now it's normalized. Now, if I see like a group of female, because I was like that, man. If I saw like a female soldier that was like fucked up, hair's fucked up, I'd be like, dude, I don't even. Nope, not gonna deal with that.
Right.
Where's the female NCO so I could talk to her and ask her like, hey, is that what that's supposed to look like?
Right, I got you. I see what you're saying, bro.
Now I don't even fucking hesitate. Now I talk everybody the same fucking way.
And I would too. That's the thing. I treat everybody fucking equally. But at what point will that person become offended at what the fuck I'm saying? Again, I'm speaking out of.
Everyone that I've worked with
look, man, let me be fucking 100% on this. I'm speaking from the point of view of somebody that has not had to work with females on a gun line. All right. I'm sure there's women out there that can knock the fucking job out. There's that happy bean chick who's done it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it can't be done. It can be. But you got to have also that mentality for it as well. I'm sure there's been a lot of females that have been on the gun line, been like, why the fuck am I doing this? You know, get them out. You know, there's a lot of fucking weak-minded guys out there too. But the thing is, I go back to being on the gun line, being on any combat MOS. I'll go back to this. They should have specific PT tests just for them, because you have to have a specific fucking body type for being on the gun line. Is that being discriminatory there?
It's going to be discriminatory to males. It's going to affect males.
Hey, if they can't fucking hack it, get the fuck out of it.
I'm just saying, like, you're going to lose the pool. Right now, it's about the population, man, because at the end of the day, the Army doesn't care. The Army says integrate, we're just going to stay out of it or whatever. But the Army is more concerned with numbers, because we do have a serious problem. Something that we're not looking at is the fact that there is the population right now of eligible military, like able-bodied individuals in the U.S. is not that great. Like, not everybody is jumping to join the infantry or artillery, man.
Well, dude, the Army has caused that onto themselves, though, because of the way that they've treated their fucking soldiers as well. The ones that come back fucked up and try to go look for help, what happens to them? They get marginalized, because we came up in that era of suck it up and drive on. You know what? I want to play something for you, and let me know what your thoughts are on this. I'm pretty sure you probably heard it already, but let me know what you think on this, all right?
Ever been in your first sergeant's office? He's got the battalion sergeant major on speakerphone, but the battalion sergeant major doesn't know he's on speakerphone, and you're talking about another soldier. And the command sergeant major is like, yeah, we're going to have to get rid of him. We ain't got time to babysit soldiers. We're already babysitting Sergeant First Class Reading.
His name is Sergeant First Class Reading.
So then you proceed to say something because you ain't no bitch. Ain't gonna let him run his mouth like that. First sergeant hangs up the phone. And Sergeant Major calls back. He's like, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. And first sergeant's like, hey, Sergeant Major, Sergeant Reed's in here. I can get you on speakerphone. And the battalion sergeant major goes, well, I don't give a damn. I go to behavioral health one time. And now I got to be babysat. And we wonder why soldiers don't seek help.
And that right there is an example, of our leadership failing NCOs as well.
Yeah.
I mean, would you want to join the military after hearing a story like that?
No, I give you like and here's also like I'm very like I care a lot about like integrating like women into the artillery.
I saw that. You're very passionate about it.
I've got a daughter, and right now I'm at a point where I'm like, do not fucking join the Army or whatever, because the atmosphere is not good. I don't want you to die, basically. Right. And I've told people this. It's like, hey, if your daughter wants to join the military, don't fucking join the Army, because the culture is not good. But if I have the trust, because I've seen it myself, that we have strong, capable women in leadership positions that are just as equal as men, and I can feel comfortable with the idea of my daughter joining, because she's going to get well taken care of, that she's going to be looked out after. And it's not a knock on males or whatever, but I want her to have somebody that she could look up to, associate with, or somebody in a role model position, and that I know, because I've seen it, that can teach her how to be a grown woman. Right. She's a woman because she joined the Army, but she's not a grown woman because until she's like an NCO or whatever. And that's what I want to see her become, a leader. And if we don't have like a tough, it's hard for me to describe, but like for me, like I want this to succeed. I
feel you on that. I completely understand what you're saying. I got 2 daughters as well. All right. And yeah, I would love to see them be little lady red legs. I would, I just think that the Army could have gone with it a different way, instead of just fucking integrating it, like,
oh, they were hands off. They were the Army was hands off. You had to kind of figure everything else out by yourself. And unfortunately, a lot of people ended up getting chaptered out because they just had poor leadership, poor people
in those positions. You
Yeah.
know, it all boils back down to, like you were saying, educate yourself. You know, because as a leader, you're supposed to earn that fucking trust from your Joes and James. Now, you know, when I was a chief and they were talking about that shit about bringing broads into the fucking gun line, I told my guys, hey, as soon as this comes, we're not going to treat her any fucking different. She's going to be treated just like you guys. I'm not changing my style.
And
I'm
that's all everybody wants. You know, like if you look at the history of every other integration that we have done before, you know, racial integration. Imagine being the first Hispanic person to join the army and how they would have looked at you or how they treated you. You know, imagine them having this conversation about you, like, hey, you know what, you know, like he's physically inferior to us because you know his skull's different. You know, going because back, hey man, like into the 19th century, they used to believe in this thing called phrenology, where if your skull was shaped a certain way or had bumps in certain spots, then you were physically inferior to everybody else. And
okay.
here we are having these conversations where it's like, you know, women.
I'm not saying that they're physically inferior, but I am saying that there are differences between men and women's body. That's obvious. You know,
Okay.
just their titties alone can hinder them. Now, you know, where I differ in the idea of having females on the gun line is when we have to start fucking making adjustments for them. You know, for I don't know. Like I said, I'm just going by what the fuck I know, Urena. I don't
And
know
guess what?
about fucking
And
broads on the
guess
gun
what?
line, but
Let me
what I'm saying is
let me
that,
tell you. Let me tell you the amazing part is no adjustments need to be made. You say, "Oh, you got to pee? There's a tree over there." And you know what they do? Roger. And they go into the tree line and they go take a piss. Like, and guess what? You didn't have to change anything.
cool. As long as I ain't got to put up an extra fucking tent for her to get dressed or
Some
change
units,
her showers.
some units I've heard of that were like, I guess we're gonna set up a different tent for the females. They could stay with the command and the command tent and all that stuff. And you're like, what? We
That's
didn't have to do
bullshit.
that.
Exact. So for shit like that, that's the type when you have to make accommodations. All right. Like when they've got to go back in, you know, every so and so many days to take a shower. No, you stay out there in the field like we all fucking do. No
Yeah.
accommodations.
We went to NTC. Nobody went back every
No,
3 days and all that
okay.
shit.
So
People
cool.
there were some stank ass people. We all stink.
Of course, that's part of the fucking field experience. All right. So, like I said, I'm speaking from the point of view of somebody who didn't have to deal with it. All right. I would have adapted to it eventually, but I probably would have been fired as well. So either way, what's done is done. I'm not the army. I don't give a fuck. Y'all deal with that bullshit.
I'll
Y'all
be
have
there
fun with
soon,
that.
man.
What?
I'll be there soon.
It's all gravy, baby. We'll make you shirts.
That's right.
But you
Rolling
know
in
what?
hundreds.
Let me go back to that fucking video though, man. Honestly, I think it's pretty fucked up how that poor fucking sergeant first class was treated like garbage because, you know, he went to go seek mental assistance or mental help, you know? And I don't know how old that video is, but it looked pretty fucking
It's
recent.
still relevant. You'll still see it. You'll still see it.
Even to date, it's still doing it. I thought
Yeah,
it was
man.
more accepted now.
Fuck no, man. Because, dude, it's all about messaging, right? It's if because I've done it as an NCO before, where I look at a private and I'll be like, "Oh, you didn't do this? I mean, I afforded you all the time necessary to do all this, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm right, you're wrong. It comes down to it. The army is horrible at fucking dealing with sharp issues and dealing with fucking mental health issues. We don't know how to adapt because we're not trained professionals on these topics. We don't grasp the full concept of somebody. Maybe somebody's really fucked up
Mhm.
deep. Maybe some dude's got some real issues because my lane right now is getting the mission done. I'm not gonna bother into knowing all this stuff. Like for sharp, like we just sent a dude 2 weeks of training, comes back and all of a sudden he is the subject matter expert on sexual assault and all this stuff. Never mind the fact that the dude's probably shady as fuck, shouldn't be nowhere near an elementary school, but we made him the sharp guy. He did his 2 weeks of training, and he conducted his annual training, so we're good. We
We're
are
green.
yeah, we're green. Yeah, and there you go. We're green. We didn't bother to do the checks and the mental health thing. It's like I don't like nobody gives a fuck, man. Like they as long as they told you that they gave a fuck, then they're good. That'll be in the counseling statement when you get counseled for doing something as a result of the atmosphere.
I
If I
think.
fuck up, I'll
Mhm.
get counseled. It'll say fucking, hey, I provided you all the resources and you just chose not to,
Let me
know,
let
do
me play
this.
devil's advocate on this one though. What about motherfuckers that are out there trying to get by on the system? For example, a motherfucker that never deployed, a motherfucker that never saw any action, never did anything that remotely would cause him any mental anguish by being in the army. His hardest time was fucking making his bed in boot camp. So
That's true, and you know what? That could happen. But I am not trained to be to know what that looks
right,
like. I'm not. You know, if a guy is malingering, I know he's malingering because I've seen him dance around washing his fucking car. And when he said that he had surgery on his leg, and I'm speaking out of experience, and I see a video of the dude dancing around when he just had surgery and he's been limping for a fucking year.
right
I
enough.
am not a medical professional. I I I can tell people like, dude, the dude's fucking bullshitting. Watch this shit or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's not my lane to fucking tell him like, hey, dude, you're fucking malingering. I leave that to the medical professionals because maybe the dude's got a mental fucking problem that I'm not aware of, which is leading this guy to fucking do what he does. And
I
it's
guess.
not my lane. I'm not paid to assess your mental thing. That's why we got professionals that do this shit.
I guess, bro.
And I get it, man. Like I've wanted to call people out before where I was like, dude, limp is bullshit. That whole thing that you're saying is bullshit. You're taking the fucking army's money. It's fucking bullshit. But at the end of the day, I'm not a doctor. I didn't
Yeah,
go to
I
I'm
guess.
not a behavioral health specialist.
Behavioral health. Oh my. Anyways, dude, I think we fucking wrapped for about a good 2 hours right now. And
Very passionate discussion.
yeah, it was pretty good. Took some time for us to get to there, but I still think that we had a better passion, more passionate discussion about a week ago when we talked about it. You know, yeah, I think you did too much research, man.
No, man. No, it's just
I think
you
you're
we are passionate about the job, the craft, the what we learned because I want to feel like I didn't let people that taught me and spent the time out of their day teaching
yeah,
me how to be who I am today. I don't want to let them down.
right.
I want them to look at me and be like, "Hey, that's what I did was worth it." When I see my soldiers become like NCOs, platoon leaders become captains,
Yeah.
I feel good about myself because I know I didn't steer them the wrong way.
And you know what? And that's one thing that's great. Going back to the officer and NCO thing, there were I can count on my hand how many bad officers I had versus how many good I served with. You know what I mean? And that's saying something because I've had quite a fucking few LTs and officers I've worked with. Um, I've had some really great battery commanders, and I don't think I've ever had a shitty battery commander. Oh no, I one. I had one shitty battery commander. No business. Oh, fucking doughboy looking motherfucker. I ain't gonna say his name. He should be out by now. Little fat fuck. Anyways, but other than that, I mean, I had one cool ass PL that I mean, to me, I've known him since he was a butter bar, and I'm sure he's up there by now. I'm not gonna throw out his name, but we served with him. Both of us, we served with him, and he was a good dude, and I hope that he's doing good. Anyways, with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this shit up, bro. It's been a good chit chat. I hope that the listeners enjoyed this. For all of y'all that made it all the way through, thank you. And I hope you enjoyed listening to my passionate rants and Urena's passionate rant as he started getting finally more involved. And I'm
Man,
hoping you're enjoying the shake and bake shirts.
shake and bake.
Shake and bake, baby. Hey, I appreciate y'all being here once again. Enjoy this shoot the shit. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Halloween. And your World Series champions, Los Angeles fucking Dodgers, baby. 32 years in the making. Woo! That was fucking awesome, Chief. That was awesome.
Be another 32 years, man.
When was the last time the Pods went there? Oh,
1998, they got swept by the Yankees in the World Series.
oh okay. So they lost. When was the last time they won one?
We don't talk about the past. That's the great thing about us as a society. We learn to move forward and think ahead about the future.
Oh man, hey man, thanks for coming out here to shoot the shit with me. It's been pretty good. I think it was enjoyable. Again, if the motherfuckers made it through all of this, you guys are fucking you guys are awesome, man. Make sure you guys like, subscribe to the fucking podcast, whether it's on YouTube or whatever fucking podcast shit you listen to. Make sure you guys go check out GI Vandals. That dude's got some fucking badass military satire attire. Make sure y'all go check that shit out, all right? And make sure you go check out the On the Gunline Teespring store. Links for both GI Vandals will be on the in the description, and for the merch for the On the Gunline T store. All right. Thanks for being here once again. With that said, I think we completed all our rounds today. So rounds complete, in the mission, and Gunline out. Y'all have a good weekend, y'all. See y'all on the midweek memo on the Gunline podcast.